Australian people of Reddit, how big does a spider have to be for you to consider it big? They are also notorious for entering cars, and being found hiding behind sun visors or running across the dashboard. Nope. If I was killed in a car crash because the driver coming the other way had that happen to them and hit me, I would be okay with that. I understand. I once had a few yellow jackets, I honestly don't know how many, attack me at a public park not too far off from my car. I sprinted to my car only getting stung a couple of times and jumped in and slammed the door. Heart pounding, I assessed my surroundings and was relieved to find I was safe in my car. At this time one sting on my butt was swelling, so I was sitting with my right side cocked up because of the pressure. I started driving home. As soon as I entered the highway, one of these fuckers flew up from somewhere and, like something out of a cartoon, seemingly stared right into my eyes in a moment of pure evil. In Q split second I was frantically dancing like a 2000 scene kid on the side of the road, throwing pennies everywhere and screaming for my life. If there had been any other cars around, I believe I would have hit them. I could not think beyond. Get to the shoulder and get out. So many swollen lumps after that. Found a yellow jacket nest while weed eating once. Dozens of them, 20 plus stings. One landed on my face and stung me just below the eye. I punched myself in the face, glasses went flying and I lost a sandal running out the gate to the backyard and to the garage. I'm now in the garage unable to see, swollen face for the sting and a bruise forming on my eye from punching myself when my wife comes out to check on me because she heard the cursing. I had to go back into the fray to get my glasses and sandals. A few hit and runs with the wasp spray gave me enough courage to retrieve my glasses to more effectively end their angry, stingy lives. Don't mess with yellow jackets. Nuke them from orbit, only way to be sure. Jesus fuck, good thing I live on the other side of the planet because I have a bad habit of always leaving the car windows a bit down during the summer. Worst case scenario, if it rains heavily at night I have to dry the seat and wheel, but not getting a heart attack in the morning when I get into the car and flip down the visor. People in Australia haven't died from a spider bite in years. What they have died of is opening their visor, having a spider drop into their lap, and losing control of their car and crashing it. Not kidding, spiders cause more car crashes than poison deaths. Wow, I skimmed that article info and saw that those spiders are only 2 centimeters across. Not big at all. Then I saw that is just the body, the legs are 15 centimeters across? Haha, and it is seriously considered bad to remove a 6+ inch spider from the house because they eat the more dangerous spiders? Nuts. I work as a pest controller in Europe. I have such a hard time educating people about the benefits of certain species, wasp hives on their property. I can't imagine how difficult it is for my Aussie colleagues to cut those spiders some slack. I get it in both cases, it's the same thing here in the States with gopher snakes. People are always posting pictures of gopher snakes on the community Facebook page asking if they should kill the scary snake. I always say that as a good snake, you want to keep those around to kill the rodents, and they can hold their own against rattlesnakes. It's just hard to substitute a 6-inch spider in there. I guess it comes back to your tolerance and what you're used to. I recently adopted an eastern brown snake here in house, not by choice, and everyone I tell about it they all say kill it, and I'm like, nah dog, he going to eat the mice under the house for me and keep other snakes out of the yard. He just chills in his one spot, we know to leave him alone and he knows to leave us alone. It is sad most people's first reaction is to kill it when it comes to things like spiders and snakes. We don't live in the ecosystem, we are the ecosystem and need to start acting like it and understand what it actually means to live with such animals. I used to have redback spiders, highly dangerous, living in my garage. Used to. Now I have friendly huntsmen that keep the roaches under control and I haven't seen a redback in ages. Even the really large huntsmen won't bite, they just run off if they see you, whereas redbacks. Okay, I clicked the link and I shouldn't have. I'm still feeling tingles run down my spine and I can still see that image when I close my eyes. I'm from an area that has wolf spiders and scorpions and those freak me out, but I've learned to deal with them as I'm a single mom and someone has to deal with them, but this would be a move out and burn my house down scenario if I saw that sucker. I has a legitimate shaking panic last night because of a harmless spider roughly the size of a small baby's hand. That's as big as spiders really get in Ireland, and there are no dangerous ones at all, thank God. I just can't handle them. I woke up with one in my bed crawling up my leg as a kid and freaked out, and I just can't cope with them since. I know it's totally irrational, but I can't control it. The one last night was blocking the bathroom door, so I had to go get my cat and then throw him at it. I couldn't even approach it to squish it. I just can't handle them. I woke up with one in my bed crawling up my leg as a kid and freaked out, and I just can't cope with them since. I know it's totally irrational, but I can't control it. Yeah man. It's been over 10 years since my childhood incident, and I can't put my hands in my pockets without thinking about it. Used to sleep in my school clothes BC. I was so excited to go to school. Well, one morning I went to fix my balled up pocket and a giant fucking brown recluse crawled from my pocket, up my arm, over my shoulder, and down my back. A few other childhood spider incidents later, and now at 24 I scream, someone come get this fucking spider. Instead of moving it myself. Lol, no. Not many will kill you, and even then you have time to go to the doc. I only know of one guy who had to go to hospital. It was Steve's third week at his new job with me. I started at 3 a.m. with him. He came in with big white blister in the middle of his hand, and his vein going up from his wrist was very red. He said he didn't feel well but was new to work and didn't want to let us down. After 2 hours of telling him to go to hospital and pointing out the redness in his vein had moved to his shoulder, he finally went. It turned out to be a spider bite, and after a day on a drip he was right as rain. One of the common spiders we have is the huntsman. They can get quite large and pretty hairy. The thing is though, the huntsman is pretty friendly, and is one of the few spiders that don't hunt with a web. Instead it crawls around hunting and will kill the nasty venomous spiders we have around. So the chances are if it's a big spider it's going to be your friend. And a much smaller spider is the one you want to look out for. TLDR, big spider is your fuzzy friend. Small spider will mess you up. I expected to see tons of insects and spiders when I went to Thailand, but there were none. Instead they had tons of small lizards hanging out near windows and lights in the evenings, hunting mosquitoes, moths and other stuff. That was very nice. I'd gladly trade all our spiders for cute little lizards. It's a big invasive party down here in Florida. In my yard right now I've got brown and night anoles, African agamas, cane toads, Cuban tree frogs, brown basilisks and Haitian curly-tails. There are iguanas, tegus, some geckos and some monitors in my county as well. Not to mention hogs, pythons, nutria rats, a ton of escaped pet reptiles and birds, and even the odd escaped monkey every few years. It's fucking wild. Yeah, we usually leave them in our house, or relocate them outside. We had one we just let stay for a while, because it wasn't causing issues. My friend who hates spiders really doesn't want to come here. You will get the occasional asshole though. In 2 years of living on this farm, I've only had one aggressive huntsman. It circled above my head on the roof for a while, ran near a daddy long legs who went in to attack it, and I guess felt like I was in charge of those other spiders cause the fucker jumped at my face. It was hand-sized, and I jumped and screamed like a little girl. It kept coming after me. I went to bed only for my cat to chase it under there, and it crawled up to greet me. I whacked it with a drink bottle and it went away. Then as I'm laying in bed browsing Reddit, without my glasses on, it moved quietly above my head. In the moment it took me to sit up and reach for my glasses, it landed on my pillow. Phone went flying, and I whacked it again, several times, with a drink bottle. I bug bombed the room the next day cause that fucker wasn't dead yet. I found it had crawled out from under my bed, but didn't get much further than that. So yeah, usually docile and they take out dangerous spiders. But I still don't want to be intimate with them. A common experience. Years ago I had a week-long Facebook thing called The Adventures of Fluffy. Fluffy was an asshole huntsman. He knew the rules and explicitly broke them, the rules being, you stay in the corner eating the other creepy crawlies and we let you live in the house. Fluffy's favorite activity was waiting until you weren't looking to move closer to you. It didn't matter where I was, he would keep creeping towards me. Luckily Fluffy the fucker was big enough that you could hear his footsteps. It's the tapping sound of a dog with long nails walking on a hard surface. The whole thing ended when Fluffy out-assholed himself one night. He kept waiting for me to turn the lights off before galloping around the walls toward my head, forcing me to turn the lights on to make him stop and move away again. After a while it seemed like he'd tired himself and migrated back to the other side of the room, and I got under the sheets and went to sleep. I woke to what felt like a cat on my leg, so I turned the light on to see Fluffy start running up the sheets toward me. I kicked the sheets and sent him flying into the wall. Sounded like a book hitting the wall. He ricocheted past the foot of my bed, and that was the last I saw of him. I slept on the couch. Ha, yeah, I experienced something similar myself. A different encounter to the above post. I sprayed this one huntsman a little, and it didn't seem to affect it much. So I covered that thing in fly spray, like absolutely soaked. You couldn't see where the counter ended and the spider began. It was just a sea of foam. I waited a minute, staring at it, sure I'd bested it. Until it unfolded its legs from the I'm so dead pose, and just got up and started walking away. I made sure I heard a crunch when I squished it with a bottle.